All right, welcome back to another edition of the Sailing Doodles podcast. Told you we'd be doing these more often, so they're a lot of fun. We're kind of changed up the format a little. It's just kind of a conversation now, having fun. So my guests today have been on a previous podcast. It was a lot of fun talking with them. That was back on my old boat, Naughty Dogs, too. So it's Greta and Zack with Azul Marine Lending, and they're kind of experts in the field of marine lending, so I thought it was a topic that you guys might be really interested in. So with that, let's welcome you guys on board.
Hey,
cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah,
cheers.
She's drinking now? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So
thanks for having us here.
All right, so why don't you we'll just start off by kind of like, I guess, when was the last time I saw you guys?
You know, what's interesting, Bobby, is we've done the whole thing with you. We met 2017 before the hurricanes at the boat show here, back when you had the 37-foot CNC, I think, and saw the aftermath of that disaster, and then the 54 as well, and just saw you up in Annapolis and had a chance to meet everybody.
And,
Annapolis
was
very that's where we did that thing.
So I think that Annapolis must have been the last time we...
The boat show, the boat show 2019.
It begins to get confusing. Did we do Miami?
It was 19,
It was 19. No, I remember having drinks with you guys at that Pussers.
Yeah, it's in Annapolis.
So, but the first time I met you guys was down here in Puerto Rico at the Caribbean.
Yeah, that was the first time that we made the noodles and
the dogs. So we had a little booth here at the Caribbean Boat Show, and it was like it took us convincing to actually get a booth, but people, because at the time we only had like 40,000 subscribers.
Well, this was like 3 years ago, and I mean it's so weird because you're flying this drone up overhead, and everybody's going, "What is that? Why is he doing this?"
The first person that it was doing that, like, what is this drone doing?
Well, now you can't fly your. Well, okay. You probably couldn't fly your drone back then here, but the old drone I had didn't have like the regulations weren't involved in. Mm-hmm. So now you can't fly a drone. It just comes like in the software of the drone within so many feet of an airport. And there's a helicopter pad up here.
Okay.
And so now I can't fly my drone here. So like I've thought about, for the footage for Imports del Rey, I've still got that footage from 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So then if I need it, I'm just going to throw that footage back on.
Rehash.
Yeah, there you go.
It's great. I gotta tell you, this I'm loving this. I mean, it's interesting seeing you go from little bitty monohull to big traditional heavy hulled sailboat to Hatteras. I've always loved. I mean, they've always built one of the best boats in the country.
Yeah.
And this, especially with the extended cockpit, love it.
Well, you said you guys, that's one of your maybe dreams one day is like a Hatteras 53 or something.
Oh, something like that.
That was his dream. I don't know.
His dreams are nightmares. It's hard to try to work it. I think Hinckley. I know she'd go for that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But
we'll see.
It's so hard to say. The problem is we're so spoiled because our clients have these gorgeous boats.
Yeah.
And it's just you look at something like a 74-foot Ferretti, for example.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice boat.
It's a bar that's hard to beat.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I have a friend that bought it was a 70-foot Pershing, right?
Oh,
and it's just,
nice.
I mean, it's a super nice boat, but I mean, it's just like, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's pretty expensive. I mean, I think he paid like. I mean, I'm not. I guess he does. Nobody knows who he is, but I mean, it's like $5 million or something like that.
But then we go into these nice yachts per se, right? And so then you get out of there, and then how do you settle to have like a smaller boat? Okay, let me get a boat now after you've been one of those, right?
But I mean, just because. I mean, there's a boat for every budget, right? I mean, because this boat, I mean, costs probably way less than most people's house, for sure. And it's still in pretty good condition.
It's a house.
It is a house. That's true.
Practically,
yeah. And it's 60 feet long, and it's got 3 bedrooms, and you can live on it.
And love the deck outside with TV and all that, so you can enjoy it.
And it's nice, it's reliable, and it's cheap to run. Yeah. It's relatively cheap to run.
Well, relatively for a motor yacht.
Relative. You hear this big sucking sound, which is fuel going out the back.
Well, if I run at 10 knots, it's like, I mean, including running a generator, it's 15 gallons an hour, 7.5 or 7 per side, and then gallon an hour for the generator. But I'm hoping to change that soon because I had a guy out here this week to do solar. So he's unless he comes back with this just stupidly high quote, I'm gonna have that done maybe even by the end of the next week.
I think it's a great idea because a lot of everybody's got the same problem with generators. Gen sets get 3 times as much wear as the motors do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it costs you to run this. Costs you $250 a day in fuel and wear and tear.
It's a good thing.
It pays off pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I'd still need to run because. I mean, on these older motor yachts, they don't have a true house bank of batteries, right?
Yeah.
And they don't even have an inverter. So basically, if I want to have power for my refrigeration or my AC lights, I need a generator running it. Mm-hmm. So that's what he's going to install is the solar panels and the inverter charger and the battery charger for the solar panels, and then eventually we'll go to. But then I need to build a new house bank. So
you need both. Maybe one more than the other at one point, but you always have to have that backup.
So
the nice thing is the lithiums are coming along pretty well now, and so for backup and for the house bank, it's not.
Well, as long as that doesn't happen what happened to us in one of the
won't talk about that.
With the lithium.
Okay, listen.
Well, actually, it's actually kind of funny. It's not a funny story. It's a good lesson.
Yeah, right.
They had
about
about 100 square foot panel. They didn't have any kind of an inverter or regulator set up between it. So they totally overcharged the battery.
Oh, wow.
And it exploded. I mean, it came close to exploding. It had flames.
So they had the panels going straight to the batteries?
Straight to the battery.
Oh, my gosh.
Totally overcharged it. They said before it went off, you could see it just pulsing as it got overheated. And then it was flames.
We were lucky because we were just
I could see the fireball 20 feet away.
We felt the heat turn around and it just exploded, and then we actually had residual.
Where was that?
It was here. It was 2 years ago at the boat show here.
Yeah.
It was. I think I remember hearing something about that. It was they were just. Yeah, it was like a display, right?
It was a display, right? So they didn't set it up properly, but thank God nobody got hurt.
Wow,
lesson to be learned: don't try this at home. Get a pro.
Well, even that. So I mean, I have installed solar panels on my previous boats. It's a lot more simple system when you're doing it on a sailboat, though. I mean, because you just you put your panels up, get an MPPT controller. Hook that up to your batteries, you're good to go. This, I mean, I've got to put in an inverter charger, got to put in all that stuff, so it's a little bit different.
Pretty much setting it on a house.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
All right, so you guys are. That's how I met you guys. Was at the Puerto Rico Boat Show because y'all had a booth there, and we had actually our booth was right next to each other.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So
and met Megan.
Yeah. And the Doodles. Yeah.
With the Doodles, oh my goodness, they're just very missed.
So you guys you do boat finance. So I mean, just explain what you guys do.
Yeah, it's fascinating how it's changed over the years because at the time 4 years ago, an average boat was $150,000 to $200,000 for us. We're seeing huge boats now. I think it's the COVID effect. I mean, we're seeing people that'll get a large boat, or $1.5 million boat.
They want the family. They want to contain their family.
Get the whole family
environment and have fun.
Right.
Which is the safer place to be. It's in the water.
Are they doing it so the big boats, say let's like a 80-foot or it's like a couple $1 million boat? Are they? I mean, it's probably not too many full-time liveaboards on that though, right?
No, once you get over 60 feet, you're typically always going to have a captain because of insurance requirements. And we're talking motor vessels here.
Yeah.
Always going to have a captain to maintain it, just because these are very busy people and very successful folks to afford it. But it's so interesting because we've got clients that are fire chiefs getting a $250,000 catamaran. And they are just as passionate about it, maybe more in some respects, than the guy that's got the 80-footer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what? We're seeing a lot now, which is something that we never even thought about it. It's the people that are bought once from us years ago, they're now going on their third and fourth.
Well, how long have y'all been?
Puerto Rico, well, in this business, totally about 12 years. But Puerto Rico is 6 years now.
6 years, yeah.
So are most of your clients in Puerto Rico, or are you just everywhere?
We do
everywhere, but we have mostly our most steady clients in Puerto Rico and friends, and obviously because we love it
it's
here.
become family.
It's fun.
We're very involved in the wonderful tournament that they have at Club Nautica every year. We've been sponsored now for 3 years.
That's the Billfish tournament?
Or Billfish tournament. Right? Been the longest running Billfish tournament in the world. August this year.
August 17th through the 20th.
So we'll be there again.
This year.
Great tournament. That tournament has people fishing in it third generation. Their grandfathers fishing in it.
Okay, what is the man? It's amazing on some of those fishing tournaments. Like some of them, I mean, the first place prize. Like some fishing tournaments can be $1 million for first place.
I don't think it's that big. I think it's more bragging rights.
Okay.
The interesting thing is for the loser. The loser gets a live goat.
No, really? They get a live
They
goat?
bring a live goat up to the boat.
So that's the thing.
You got the goat.
So now you got the goat. So now they're like, okay, now you figure out what to do with the goat, or do they?
No, we don't know.
I didn't see the goat, but I do know they have a really wonderful, wonderful barbecue with something.
Oh, right. Okay.
It doesn't look like a goat.
Yeah, let me turn those down a little bit. Yeah.
But it's just it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and it's just you feel like you're with family, friends, and enjoy going from one boat to the other. Of course, with COVID, we don't know how it's going to be this year, but hopefully the vaccine takes.
Right. Well, in August, I would hope everything's.
Everybody's vaccinated,
I think so.
and then we can have a normal life.
They shut down really hard here. We got an apartment in LVO San Juan back in May, and it was really tight then.
Yeah.
Loosened up a lot since then, but also very, they've done a good job managing the whole thing.
They're doing a great job.
Well, I mean, I think Puerto Rico has if you all 50 states and you add the territories, they're like third from the bottom as far as like number of cases per capita.
It's interesting. A lot of it too is just the fact that you've got a tight culture. Mm-hmm. And when they say the rules are you wear a mask, and the rules are that they've done a good job with that. Plus, it's a nice warm environment, and I don't think it's just prone. Yeah,
well, a lot of sun too.
A lot of people,
and they were doing things that we never seen in the States. Like taking your temperature and
everywhere.
That's
everywhere, everywhere. And in the States, they just started. They never did it before.
Well, that's the thing is like anytime you walk into, I mean, technically even the gas stations. I mean, there's nobody to enforce it there, but like you go into a gas station, they have the little automatic monitor where you put your hand up there and it takes your temperature. And then anytime you go into any restaurant, they take your temperature and then they spray your hands with hand sanitizer.
Right. Which cuts down the virus infection for us.
I got to tell you the truth, though. We have to laugh at ourselves sometimes because you know where we started. We know where you started. It is right, 4 years ago, it was a fairly modest beginning. We'd been coming here for a year or two. We'll probably do.
No, we've been coming over here for five years.
Well, no, it was a couple of years at the time. 4 years ago, it had been 6 years total. So I mean, but at that time, we were doing a little bit of business here. We'll do $35 million in loans in Puerto Rico this year.
So that's like the total number of boats financed, like 35 million.
It's some very large ones and probably 30 million internationally. We're doing a lot out of Mexico now, and then another 35 million or so up in the continental U.S. So it's just spread out all over the place.
We're very blessed, and we but nothing really changed anything that we do. Our lifestyle is the same. Everything's the same because we just we love our life, and we're not switching for anything.
Absolutely.
This one is valuable, though.
Yeah, right. Well, she speak. How many languages do you speak?
She speaks three.
It was English, Spanish, and
Italian. My father is Italian.
Okay.
But it's surprising when we tell people, literally over half our business is in Espanol.
Oh, right.
And some of it, 30%.
How's your Spanish?
Sucks.
Get in there.
It's like, they call me, I'm from Tennessee originally. I love Puerto Rico. So my friends here, they call me a Tennerican.
Tennerican? Or Tennerican. Okay.
Tennerican.
All right. So so I think most people are probably at least somewhat familiar with like how car finance or house finance works.
Yeah, well, one advice I always give people before you are searching for a boat, first thing, just check your credit score and credit card.
What do people need? What's the minimum for like a?
Well, first of all, the credit, because sometimes there are things that are reported erroneously there. So first thing you want to do is correct those things. Mm-hmm. Get the best score you can. 700 and up, it's good, but the better rate you're gonna get.
Right.
So the things that people need mostly, it will be, it could be 20-25%, depends where they buy the boat.
You said 20-25% down payment.
Down payment, right, okay. Right.
But it's interesting because I always tell people before you call us, or if you'd like to, get on Credit Karma.
Yeah.
It does not hurt your credit.
Anything.
And it'll tell you if there's a problem. And it's fascinating because we'll see guys who have, for example, somebody had 40 late payments on a mortgage. It was here in Puerto Rico.
And
it was only on one account. And it was all totally erroneous.
Yeah.
It took them 4 days to clean it up. And took them from like a 670 score to about a 780 score.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we got a deal.
Yeah, because especially with that Hurricane Maria, Banco Popular, for example, they reported things and then they stayed there, but they're erroneous because it was something that happened digitally and automatically. So they really didn't mean to report late because everybody got 4 months, of moratoria, what you call it, which is you don't have to pay, and the bank didn't even charge because at that time they even weren't able to do any of that. So there are a lot of erroneous things reported in a credit that they should correct first and are very easy to correct by disputing online.
Now, well, the other thing which is fascinating is a lot of times we'll see a guy with a 720 score, no late payments at all. What's the problem? And when you talk to him, he said, I'll pay my bills every single month. I zero the credit cards. What he's doing is paying the credit cards after the reporting day. And so for that guy, we'll say, okay, we're not going to turn it into the bank. What we want you to do for the next 4 weeks is to zero your credit cards every single week. Every week. Zero them. And we've seen jumps of 80 points.
Oh my gosh.
Is he any better or worse on credit? No, but the numbers now work.
They work, and also the interest rate. It's not the same getting 4.93 than getting 6. So
that's a big difference.
It's a big difference. So we always say, one thing that you can do from your part before is to searching for a boat is just look at your credit if you're going to finance, because that's one of the main keys, to start with.
Well, what is like the term generally on a boat? I mean, like a house is 30 years, right? Or car is 5 or 6.
Typical is 20 years.
20 years.
And it's kind of funny because you'll see we spend a lot of time online talking to you guys. And you know who you are. We see you on the catamaran sites and the sailing sites and the liveaboard sites. And you got some people very strongly say, don't get a loan, pay cash or you can't afford it. What it comes down for most of our clients, and I don't care whether you're a government worker, government employee that's got $150,000 income, maybe $500,000 or $600,000 in retirement, or whether you're somebody extraordinarily wealthy with $400 or $500 million. It all comes down to what do your funds cost. What kind of money are you making? If you're making 7 or 8%, which is not unusual in the market today, why in the world would you cash that in when you can get a loan on a large 4%, 4.25%?
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. So don't take that. Yeah, if you're still netting 2% or something.
Exactly.
And I got to be honest, we simply, from our standpoint, it's not a big deal because we are so busy. We're working 12, 13 hours a day. If there's a better solution, like if, for example, we think somebody should take a lot of equity they have in their house, do a homeowner line of credit, doesn't involve us at all. We want them to get the boat.
We want them to get the boat that they want and the best way, best interest. We honestly, and we very humbly, we say that we are very busy, that we don't, it's not that we are desperate for business, we're not. So sometimes we spend the time to help people to get loans from other sources that they have because it's in their best interest.
So what are the like, so is there like a minimum and a maximum you can finance on a boat?
Yeah, our minimum is $100,000, but and our maximum is $25 million.
And so it's $100,000 value, or the loan is
loan amount. So that'd be a $130,000 boat.
Right, okay. 133,500 would be the minimum price.
But again, the other thing is we don't ever say no to anyone because, for example, somebody wants $80,000 on a flats boat. I've got a very good friend of mine that I work very closely with, and we'll just refer them out to that.
Well, I mean, so if you're doing $200,000 boat and you finance over 20 years at 4% interest, I mean, and that's your payments are only
roughly $1,300 off the top of my head.
So I mean, then well, I mean, you got it. Part of the problem too is then there's a lot of holding costs with the boat. You got the marina.
Absolutely.
So what do you recommend? Like if somebody's going to buy a boat, say they can afford it. Okay, if somebody can afford it, it depends on where you live a lot.
Yeah,
so,
always.
But I mean, like if they can afford a $1,300 a month payment, well, then you're like, okay, really, that's going to cost you $2,600 a month, or what is it going to be?
Actually, here's kind of rough numbers. What you can figure is roughly, top of my head, about $650 per $100,000 you borrow. You can also figure, let's talk about a normal boat. A lot of sailing folks tend to follow this. Let's talk about a catamaran.
Okay.
$400,000 catamaran.
That's pretty cheap for a cat, though. I mean,
yeah, it is.
Yeah,
but there's a lot there. That'll get you a 2008 Lagoon 440, maybe. Okay. So you're going to put $100,000 down. You're going to finance that for 20 years. Well, we'll see how fast that can be. So you can borrow $300,000 at $650. That's $1,950 per month.
Okay.
You're going to spend about, and it's interesting, we do a lot of work with people with zero experience. The most funniest story, I'm going to digress for a second.
Okay.
Funniest story I've got is a guy, we always ask, what's your experience? I asked a guy buying an $800,000 catamaran, what's your experience? He said, fantastic. I said, what do you mean? He said, I went on a sunset cruise last week on a catamaran. I want one.
Right.
And we actually got it done.
What a good experience.
Yeah, but
all right.
He had a cat.
Oh, so you mean like what's your experience like as a boat owner? And he's like, I want to. Okay.
Yeah, so that was
it.
It was hysterical.
Yeah.
But we deal a lot with folks that are very, very new.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're very new, you can kind of expect to pay about 2% of hull value in insurance. So now we're at $1,950. We've got a $400,000 boat that is $700 a month. Now we're at roughly. Roughly 2,600. Thank you. And then you got to dock the thing somewhere, another 1,400.
Yeah.
That's about 4,100. You got maintenance, which you can figure pure maintenance is going to be maybe 5%. That's another $2,000 a month. You got a pretty significant number.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times, especially with the new people, because since COVID, people have time. They loved a little bit of diversion, love watching channels like yours, love watching other channels, especially yours.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But they love to spend time watching it, and they get excited with the idea of the lifestyle.
Right.
And the reality, and we really try to just say, guys, here's really what you can expect on this. The other part is everybody we surround ourselves with, and this is really important. We've got a great documentation company. We have about 5 really good brokers that we work with. We have great insurance companies, and they're all used to working with new folks. And so we say, okay, two levels. You're an experienced person. You're buying a 45-foot catch. You've already owned a 38-foot catch. You had a big monohull before that. Mm-hmm. You started sailing Hobbies when you were a kid. Mm-hmm. That literally is 10% of the market.
Right.
We are getting half the market of people who have light experience. They have some of the ASA courses.
But not in Puerto Rico so much because you find it's a totally different story because you find that the boaters here are traditionally from one generation to the other. So they're very experienced and there's like, okay, I grew up in this kind of boat and we had this kind of boat, got married, got their own. It's just they come from family of boaters because the one thing that you can do here is go from
it's an island.
It's an island.
It's an island, right?
I mean, literally, it is so interesting because, we know Morgan Bertram quite well. And literally, you'll see guys who started on a 31-foot Bertram with their father or their grandfather. Right. You'll see guys who then they moved up to a Viking.
Yeah.
And it was one of the early Vikings. Now they're moving up to a 48-foot Viking. They're moving up to a 60-foot Viking. Our guys in Puerto Rico, believe it or not, they trade boats every 2 years.
Yeah. Well, like the owner of this boat. Okay, so it's a '97.
Yeah.
The guy. Okay, so the guy I bought it from, his father bought this boat in '99 and then sailed it for however many years, and then the son took it over when the father passed away, and it's just it is kind of a boat. So now then, he's selling this one to buy another one, and and all that. So
I tell you, in Puerto Rico, you got experienced boaters. They know how to maintain a boat.
Oh yeah, this was a very well maintained, the cost of maintenance here is a lot less than it would be on the.
Yeah, but you find also people that are very experts in what they do.
Sure.
And so, if you're a boater, to be here in Puerto Rico is actually just the ideal situation.
It's like today. We're on an inner breakwater, huge rock wall that nobody can see this out there.
Oh, man, we just saw waves.
On the other side, there's waves coming over there. 8 to 10 foot swells today. Normal day in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
You get people who are very, very good, very experienced boaters here because they have to be, and because multi-generation.
Yeah, I'm ready. It's been windy here for like 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm ready for that to calm down
It's that time of year, man.
I know. I thought it was supposed to start calming down about now, though, isn't it?
Good news is summer is coming, then you get to deal with the mosquitoes.
Right.
Well, no, and then hurricane season. I think that this is actually the best time of it.
It's a wonderful time.
Oh, it's nice and cool at night. I mean, like the other night, I mean, like it's. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was 70 degrees last night, and it's perfect for hanging out on the back deck. But you get out in the wind and that, and you're like, I might want a sweater or something.
Right.
It's
Sitting over there, we're in the Viejo San Juan, and during the day we're perfect, and then at night it gets a little chilly, and so but it feels great. It feels great.
And the biggest difference between this and a sailboat is, sailboats, you're sort of hanging out there, middle of the night, breeze blowing, spray coming over the bow, you're soaking wet, and you're going, oh, I wish I had a big Hatteras with an enclosed bridge.
Well, but the problem with the Hatteras right now, well, it's not a problem, but like, so the last couple days coming up here, so I went from Isla Mujeres to Salinas, and then Salinas to Palmas were the two worst ones. So like, I set sail early in the morning to beat the wind because the trade winds and all that pick up longer in the day. But we're going into the wave, so there's a spray coming up. So I have to enclose, which is fine. It's great. I have the enclosure, but then it's hot up there.
Yeah.
I mean, because like it's like a greenhouse because there's no air coming in, and it's just like But
we shot video before of the boats all going out for the fishing tournament.
Yeah.
And we have seen one of our clients has a 74-foot Viking, and you literally see waves almost breaking over the top of that 74-foot boat. Unbelievable.
Yeah, no thanks. So
friends and
friends and clients.
It's a family really thing going on here because we're friends with everybody, but they're friends and they're clients.
Well, it's a small island, right? I mean, there's like 3 million people live in Puerto Rico, something like that. But it's still an island, right? I mean,
and everybody that we talk to that is related to somebody. It's like we'll do business with somebody. You said, "Oh, you did business with my cousin,"
right?
Or you did business with the guy I went to school with.
I met several people just in the marina here. It's like, wait. Where's Jose that used to own this boat? And I'm like, oh, well, I mean, I bought it. He's like, oh, he's my cousin. He's my sister's cousin or my husband, whatever.
It's a very
sister's cousin. I guess would be your cousin too.
We love the culture. I mean, it's just such a tight family culture and such a tight cultural. I mean, it's amazing. Puerto Rico has been an island for forever. They've been supporting each other for forever. They really pull together in some tough spots.
Well, a lot of people don't realize that, like, Hispaniola was first, discovered by Columbus. Okay, I don't want to get political on that, but like Columbus first went to Hispaniola, which is Dominican, right?
Yeah.
And then it was Puerto Rico next, and so like there's been people in Puerto Rico for over 500 years, way longer than even in the United States.
Well, way beyond that, you had the I'll probably mispronounce the Taino Indians were natives here.
Okay.
And then largely disappeared because of disease.
Bringing over by the Europeans.
The Spaniards.
So it's,
well, they had them they used to just keep the Spaniards in an island for about I think 40 days or something like that.
Oh, really?
There was actually an island.
So they would quarantine them?
Oh, absolutely. If you Morro Castle, the island that was on the other side of the bay, was a quarantine zone.
Right.
And when you came into Puerto Rico, they would quarantine.
To protect the locals.
The locals, because the Spaniards were already here, so the new ones that were coming, they didn't want the ones already here. They didn't want them to bring. They knew that they were diseased.
So, well, it's still amazing that they knew that back then. I mean, like now, I mean, heck, we're in COVID right now. Nobody's anyway. Which we have been quarantining. I'm ready to stop quarantining, but yeah.
Oh, I think if anybody beats our record, we've been tested 8 times since May.
8 times? That's a lot.
Yeah, because we come here a lot, and of course we take it very seriously.
Yeah, I mean, come here back and forth. So yeah, we get tested every time, and take care of ourselves, of course, and wearing masks and all that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so we're ready to move on, like you said. Mainly we have to take care of our seniors, and that's what we're doing right now.
Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, like Puerto Rico is a very older, I guess, demographic, right? Because I mean, it's you're seeing a lot of people move here to Puerto Rico actually because of the tax benefits, but a lot of the younger people, they end up moving to the States or the mainland for jobs and stuff like that. So it's just kind of older.
They go to school and then they come back. They come back.
They do?
Is
Yeah.
Especially physicians, we see a lot of them that were trained in the States, went through the residencies, and then came back to Puerto Rico. And we, the level of care here from individual physicians is amazing.
Yeah.
Just tremendous. Can't say enough about it. And many, many good friends and clients of ours are physicians.
Well, I mean, so the boat next to me that they left this morning. Yeah, they left this morning. No, last night. Okay. And they went over to Culebra, and it was a brand new 72 foot. I mean, $7-8 million yacht. Well, I don't know what it was. And so I got talking to them, and they're both doctors. I'm like, wow, y'all are doing pretty well for doctors then, because to be able to buy. I mean, but I guess if you're doing,
I actually think I do that.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah,
I won't say any names.
I was just going to say that. We know who that is, but
it's not 78 feet, but it's close. We'll leave it there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, then we won't say his name on here. But but they're really nice people. But they were up, and I was like, man, y'all are doing well.
They're all absolutely amazing people. We actually had months ago when this COVID thing just started, I think, or maybe before then, he woke up and he couldn't see from one eye. And
I forgot about that.
We're talking completely blind.
Was it? Yeah, it was a bit of a stroke.
It was a stroke.
Okay.
Behind the left eye.
Behind the optic nerve.
Oh wow! But you got it back?
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna digress again. I do this. Okay, but. Basically, I was wearing a very heavy headset, and it had a heavy clamp right here and earpiece here. So 14 hours a day, I'm sitting with this thing pressed against here. Yeah. And they think it cut the blood flow to one of the arteries behind the eye, caused a stroke, and I went totally blind.
Wow.
100%. And you tell the story.
And so, we're trying to find where to go on a Saturday, and of course everything's closed down. So I said, okay, let's look and see who of our clients is
a doctor, really,
an ophthalmologist.
Oh wow, okay.
And so we looked, and God took us right to him, I think, because it was actually a current client that we were working with. And so called him, and he's like, oh, not a problem. Came, pick us up on a Sunday morning. His brother-in-law was a top specialist, and I can't say names, but it's amazing. We grateful forever. Opened the hospital.
Wow.
Took him over there, took care of him, and so we knew exactly what it was, what to do. Then we took a plane, back to the States, and he even sent us with the doctor that he should see in there. Wow. And continued and did all kind of testing, and it said it was that, but luckily, he is back to normal because
took 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
So did you have to have any procedures done, or just had to clear up?
Just cleared itself up. I got very lucky.
All kind of testing. They
said normally you don't recover.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
And one thing I cannot do is lose eyesight.
No.
Yeah, right.
No. And but they told us that since you have two optical nerves that go each eye, so one had the stroke and the other the arteries. So the other artery kept bringing the blood flow in it. So that's the reason he didn't have a physical stroke, but recovered. Very good health, thank God.
It was a tough 2 weeks.
No more now. Just get an earpod, put it in.
Yeah, AirPods are wonderful. Love AirPods.
Right.
Yeah.
The worst part though is we end up yelling at each other because
can't hear each other because you got that.
What are you yelling?
In Sarasota, we've got 2 offices, in one wing of the house, hers and mine, totally different. I've got a huge 8-foot desk with 2 49-inch. I've got 8 feet of monitors on my desk. She has hers very nicely decorated, just totally different. But we end up yelling at each other because we're both wearing AirPods all day with noise suppression. It's like, what?
We look like 2 old people.
Well, on boats they call them the marriage savers, right? So when you're docking the boat, but there's that phrase I'm sorry for what I said, but I'm docking the boat. So when you're docking a boat, because I get it. There's been times when I've been backing in or to a boat or slip or something like that, and I'm yelling not to yell at the. I'm just
communicating loudly.
Yeah, exactly. I'm communicating so that you can hear me, and then they're like, "Stop yelling at me," and I'm like, "I'm just yelling so you can hear me."
Yeah, when we were just dating, first year, so whatever, maybe second year, we were dating. So we were, going on a boat, and I would try to help him, and he told me to do some things, and then one day he just what? If you. You don't talk to me like that. Here, do it yourself. Jump out of the boat.
And it was a tough boat.
Like,
it was a 1969 Whitby 45 half cockpit.
Okay.
Big, strong IRR race boat. After that, I took a mate with me because the problem is it was just too powerful a boat, you know.
Right.
And I had to have somebody very experienced, very strong to be able to deal with it.
No, I broke my nails. I said no.
Well, but you know what? A lot of people don't realize is that you know, when you're on a especially if you live on a boat full time, or you spend a lot of time on a boat, you need to be good at communicating because it's not like this is a pretty big boat, but like on my first boat, 37-footer, if you got mad, well,
there was no place
to go, right? And so
where do you
and it's
go?
just so that's I've never been one of those kind of people. Like I'm probably, it's just always been me. Like if I can be upset about something, but like 10 minutes later, I'm like, we're good, right? I mean, what are you talking about?
No, you're not. You did. No, 10 minutes later, you said, we're good. And then they say, it's fine.
Yeah, no, it's never fine.
No, it's never fine.
But you need to get to the point where you can be like, oh, yeah, we're fine. It was 10 minutes ago, whatever.
No, listen, we pretty much are like that because sometimes we get like that and then it's like, okay, let's go have fun. Yeah, drop it. We need to go eat. We're hungry. Let's go. And we just, go on and start all over again because sometimes it does get a little intense because we are overwhelmed sometimes. We have to be honest with you, and so there are some things that for me they're a priority, and for him there are other things that are a priority. So we're like, no, we need to do this.
My priority is the most important.
Your priority.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
my priority trumps your priority.
Yeah, no. The funniest thing is just the two languages because literally all day long she's on the phone in Spanish all day long, and she's communicating. I'll hear her talking very loudly in Spanish. I'm going, honey, was that okay? And she goes, oh yeah, we're just talking.
Well, no, it's different. I mean, like I've been
different style, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in Nigeria for 4 years, and it was a bit of an adjustment because like people raise their voices very quickly there, right? And they're not upset. They're just like if you have a minor disagreement or not disagreement even just
no, even you're happy. I mean, I'm Latin, we're Latin, so we're Latin. We're like, oh my God, you're really.
But it like over there, it's like if you did something and somebody if it was in the United States, say I'm in Dallas, and somebody starts yelling at me like they would like in Nigeria.
Oh, somebody grabbed.
Oh,
for the concealed carry.
Yeah, it'd be like whatever. But whereas there, it's like they yell at you and then you talk for 2 seconds and you're like, okay, we're good, man, we're fine. Yeah. I mean, it's just a different culture thing.
It's interesting, and it's been we both do that quite well. For her, it's something she grew up with. For me, it's something I've learned very, very well.
Sure. And you're from Tennessee. Where are you from originally?
I was born in Peru. I practically finished. I've been raised in New Jersey.
Okay. Is that where you guys met, or how'd you guys meet?
No. We.
Okay. Oh, come on.
Oh, what is this?
I'm gonna tell this story.
Oh, okay. You got a good story. Okay.
So,
all right.
I'm a very good dancer, a ballroom dancer.
Okay. Wait, and so, you're a ballroom dancer?
Seriously.
And you are?
Too, yeah.
Yeah, so...
I don't... Okay.
Yeah, I know, that blows your mind, Bobby, but there you go.
You are a ballroom dancer.
Yeah, so her husband...
I'm going to Google some video footage of you ballroom dancing and put it on top of here, yeah?
Well, actually, check out my salsa. My salsa's on point, man.
Okay.
But what's really funny is that...
my husband passed away.
That's not the funny part.
No, it's not funny.
So
I didn't leave my house for about 4 months. So the first time I go out, because a friend pretty much dragged me out of the house. It's like, no, I gotta get out. So we went out. I said, no, maybe a couple hours. So we go to the place where I used to go all the time, which is the Ritz-Carlton. I hung out there all the time. So this one was there.
Ballroom dancing.
Yeah, and so I asked her to dance, and you may have to cut this one, but anyway.
No. There's no editing.
Where it gets funny was we were in, so we're dancing, dance a couple of dances, go back to the bar. We're sitting there talking. She said, my husband just died. And she said, I really am not interested. Don't want to get to know anybody, none of that. I'm going, that's perfect. I said, I'm a really good dancer.
I like to dance.
I happen to be gay, so I have no interest at all.
Yeah, okay.
And that's sort of part of the
Wait, you actually...
I love dancing, so I'm like, oh, you are? Oh my God, that's perfect. So we can actually dance.
And then it got worse because she could never figure out why I would always show up where she was. The reason there was about 5 places to go in Sarasota, okay? So all the valet
stalking her?
All the valet guys did it for me.
Oh, really?
All the valet guys. Yeah, I said, here's the deal, guys. You call me when she shows up.
Wow.
$20.
Wow.
And so I was laying out $100 a week because she'd be going places. She could never figure out why I'd show up 5 minutes later.
And my daughter's like, Mom, everywhere we go, this guy is just there.
So how did he wear you down? I mean, geez, I don't know. I mean, he's borderline stalking you.
Then I find out, one of the valet guys tell me, he said, well, he's just paying $20 everywhere you go. And so I'm like, oh, I said, well, guess what? I said, I'm going to start offering $40 for them people not to tell.
Oh, no, really? So yeah, you just
the valet guys were making bank there for a while.
Yeah.
That was funny.
It was funny. So yeah, that's how we started,
Oh, well, hey, and then how long has it been now?
Almost 13 years.
13 years,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, that was great.
Well, congratulations, guys. That's
So
good.
we got married. We got married in 2012,
Okay.
September. So
In Italy, of course.
In Italy. Oh, yeah,
in Sorrento, right?
Yeah, Sorrento, yeah.
So, it's almost 9 years,
Wow.
and together almost 13. Yeah.
Yeah, so we literally are together 24/7.
Right. Well, I mean, you work together too.
Working,
Work together.
I mean,
living.
that's got to be, working, living, and all that. I mean, how does that work out?
Oh, it works out great. I think it's.
I escape for about 2 hours a week because I fly. One of my things is I fly big sport kites,
likes
and
that.
so she.
I thought I saw something on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's.
So then I escape and go shopping.
Yeah, she does not particularly like watching me fly
So
large
sport kites. I mean, like, what is that? I mean, it's like
well, it's a 2-line kite.
Right.
Okay. Several different kinds.
how big are they?
8 feet.
8 feet. Wow.
Different sizes.
I've got one coming in this week that's 10 feet.
Okay.
Sorry,
Yeah.
babe.
All
Yes,
right.
I do.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
That
that's
takes me
like kite surfing big. I mean, close to
It's
it.
close. It's
One-
a 100-pound pole.
One of them, I got to say this story. He asked me to just held it down, and I felt like it was going to take.
Well, I mean, if it's a 100-pound pull, that's barely. Yeah. You're like
just-
101 pounds, so there you go.
No. 100.
Good try.
Oh, come on, yeah, come on.
But
no,
I'm no dummy here. Come on.
It's a good, it's just a good escape for me, and they're very,
Yeah.
very aerobatic. They're tons of fun. I'm up to about 8 right now.
How often are you doing that?
Every week.
Really?
and I usually
escape
go
for an
with
hour.
him most of the time too.
Yeah, she videos it.
But the times that it just rains and pours and
He's doing it. He's doing it in the rain.
He's doing it by
Oh,
himself.
wow, okay.
It was kind of funny because the most beautiful place in the world to fly a kite is El Morro Castle. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Gorgeous,
kite flyers there.
Beautiful field. And that field's been everything from golf courses to
Really? There's a golf course
oh,
there?
seriously? Well, many
used
years
to be.
ago, back in
Okay.
the early 1900s, to baseball fields, to entertain the army,
used
everything.
for many
So
things.
now it's all been
History.
taken back to where it was, which was basically a killing field originally for the fort.
Yeah.
Wide open spaces for the cannons
Yeah,
to
right.
have a command. So
It's
now you
really
got
beautiful.
beautiful place to
Gorgeous.
fly kites. You have lots of families out there. So I'm flying, one of my things the other day, and just a couple. Well, this is actually about a week ago, and so flying it, just having a great time, and all of a sudden there's this kite
yeah.
coming out of nowhere,
That was-
zaps my
yeah.
kite, knocks it out of the sky, and I look around. This little 4-year-old kid that lost his kite,
Oh,
and then
no.
he's going running after his kite.
I thought you were like getting in a fight with another kiter all of a sudden.
Well, it was
No, and then
inadvertently,
it was funny because he's trying to get his little kite, poor thing, and then he's like pulling his kite, trying to get the kite.
So it's wonderful. You get a lot of families out there having a great time.
Well,
It's just-
it's a little different. So I always felt that like so the kite boarding, right? So it's basically
Right.
a wakeboard
Oh,
and you
yeah.
have this big giant
Right.
kite.
Right.
I always felt like the learning curve on that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's viewers
it's
that
a tough one.
yeah, but I'm sure there's a learning curve on that. So what I actually bought the other day, and I haven't used it yet. I've got it. I'm waiting till when I can. It's called wing boarding.
Oh yeah,
So it's an inflatable wing that you hold on to,
yeah.
and then you got
Yeah,
a
we
board
have
that's got a
seen
foil on it,
Oh yeah.
and then so you hold on to it and you get up on the foil and do all that.
I don't want to get video on that the first time. It's
Oh,
gonna be a disaster.
So just for the video, I actually got a special drone for it. It's the Skydio drone.
Yeah.
So what you do is you wear this little transponder
Yeah, and it follows you.
and it follows you. And because I was trying to figure out a way to get good video of that, so I bought that drone for that, so that when I do it, I'm gonna wait till I probably get to the Virgin Islands, and then. hopefully not die.
Some of those things are quite cool.
Don't say that.
I mean,
Oh my goodness.
Well, it's like you don't live stream, and nobody wants to see you drown live stream.
Well, no, but I definitely need to have somebody like
So you need to have a safety boat.
Yeah, I need to have a safety boat. Exactly. So
yeah, you need somebody just making sure that if you need any help.
Right. Because I mean, imagine trying to. I mean, it's just like sailing. I mean, it's like if you can't tack back to the boat, you need somebody to watch in here. Because like the other day, so we were in Salinas. Do you know Salinas on the south coast of Puerto Rico? Okay. And so we paddleboarded into the restaurant, and at like 11:30, we were done at the restaurant at like 2:00. The wind had picked up quite a bit, and so we're paddleboarding back and like
into the wind.
Well, actually, it was kind of crosswind.
Yeah.
And so like it was hard for me to get back to the boat, and the dinghy was still up on the deck up there, and so all of a sudden I look back and Amanda is like 200 yards downwind, and there's no way she's getting back. I mean, so I'm going, okay, I'm like, I got to get I'm going to have to put the dinghy down and go get her. And then luckily right about that time, a couple guys in jet skis came by. Wow. I was like, and Puerto Ricans are very friendly. I waved them down.
Puerto Ricans are amazing.
Yeah, I waved them down. I said, hey, mi amiga, whatever. And they're like, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things that I really love about Puerto Rico.
If you ask a Puerto Rican to go pick up a pretty girl in this industry,
yeah, right.
Not a problem.
Well, that was true. She jumped on the back.
No problema.
Yeah.
They just help anybody. I just love the people here. It's just it's the culture is just absolutely amazing because there is you might just be walking through the streets not knowing anybody, something happens and then you have 100 people coming over to help everybody. It's just it really is.
Well, I'm interested to see when this summer when the COVID restrictions start to lift. I mean, because Puerto Ricans love to party.
Oh,
I mean, any excuse. Yeah, right.
Big time.
I mean, any excuse for a party. So when that happens, I mean, they're gonna go crazy. Is it La Placencia? Is that the place in San Juan with like the little square where
La Placita.
La Placita.
But there is a bar that is very well known where people go and dance, and it's called what is it called? That little bar that it's.
Oh, it's right on the corner, and I've seen there's like a ton of salsa dancing, like in the street and everything too.
Yeah. Well,
La Placita. That sounds right.
I think so. Yeah, and also there is something that they do like on Sundays that they go like from bar to bar, and they just dancing all over the streets. But of course, all that is just not.
Well, yeah. I mean, so I was actually where we were. Okay, yeah. That was. I was there right before COVID last year because I was in Puerto Rico when COVID, like everything shut down.
Yeah, we were as well just before that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
And so, I mean, it was really cool, I guess, getting to see La Placita when it was like still going on. And then, unfortunately, I mean, I think we were here. Yeah, we were here. Okay, so we were actually in this marina. The boat was here. We got a couple nights in a Airbnb in San Juan, and then did that. And then when we came back to the boat, like a day later, as they shut down.
Well, today actually they have we're right across the street from where we live at Plaza Colon. They have something going on because they had stereo music. So I don't know if they're gonna have some type of party.
Little música, little Ramberlito, Tres Estrellas a la Rocas.
All right.
Good, man.
There's alcohol in those drinks. I'm sure. I'm happy with that.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So what are the I don't even know. I mean, like what are the restrictions right now in Puerto Rico? Is it like
the island
seating?
is pretty much open, but very carefully monitored. Let's say at 30% inside restaurants.
Okay.
And most
11 o'clock curfew.
11
o'clock curfew.
Right.
Yeah.
In most
mandatory mask outside.
Right. Absolutely. In most restaurants, they don't let you sit at the bar.
Right.
They just put the chairs in little tables close to the bar, so you feel like you're at the bar, but you're not.
Yeah.
So they're very careful.
But yeah, I go for a run. I'm trying to get not fat and fit again.
Try jump rope, man.
Yeah, jump rope. Okay.
Oh, seriously, I've got a great ball bearing jump rope.
Really? Ball bearing jump rope? Is it heavy?
About the one I use is about a half a pound.
Okay.
But they're all kinds of different sizes. Fabulous, good stuff.
Well, no, but so I've been.
I could see you jumping rope on a moving deck.
Yeah, that'd be hard. That'd be hard.
Not going.
But so I've been running lately, and like normally, I mean, you can't run with a mask on. I mean, it's just it's
impossible.
So like, I'll just put the mask on my wrist and then run. And like, I remember I was in Ponce running, and like, it was still early. It was, like 8 or 9 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And like this police officer is like, no. I'm like, well, like I'm not around anybody.
No.
I'm 30 feet from anybody.
And that's what doesn't make any sense sometimes, because then you're like, it's windy.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have anybody around and you have to wear a mask, but you know what? The rules are the rules. But I totally agree with you, because I mean, what are the chances that you're going to get anything in that kind of
so. Well, I mean, I already had COVID too, so I don't think I'm, well, you can, that's the thing. It's like, there's always some anecdotal evidence, like, I know this person, he's had it twice. I'm like, okay, well, he says he's had it twice. Maybe the first time he was just sick with something else. Like, I can't tell you how many people like tell me like, I was sick last January. I think I probably had it.
I had COVID back in November. No, you probably didn't. It was probably the flu.
It was probably,
flu. Exactly.
So there's always that.
Yeah.
And then of course, I mean, like, okay, so I don't know this. This is just me talking. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. Right. But they say that
pretend to be.
I'll pretend to be. But the vaccine is only 95% effective, right? Mm-hmm. So that means on 5% of people it doesn't work.
1 out of 20 is going to still
right,
get it.
Exactly. And so then maybe 1 out of 20 can get it twice. But should we shut down all that?
Listen to this. I mean, you can be around some people that have tuberculosis.
Yeah.
And you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you can live in that kind of fear.
Yeah.
So I think you just have to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, protecting others, respectful of others, but you can't just hide yourself,
Sure.
Good news is that we will all get through this. And
hopefully we're close.
Hopefully we're close. It seems to be.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it's I think like the case of new rates is down substantially over the last like I want to say it was like 70%.
It's cratered.
Yeah, like 70%. Is that right?
Especially, Florida. I think everybody had it already.
Yeah, I know.
Except us, because we've been hiding.
Yeah,
It's like, but yeah, I think half the over 65s in Florida have been already
vaccinated.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I'm too young. I got another 4 months to go.
Oh, 4 months, right? Hey,
baby, man.
You're looking good, man.
Just a baby, you know.
Well, it's
to keep up with my 40-year-old esposa.
Yeah, there. That weighs 100 pounds.
That weighs 100 pounds.
Yeah.
So baby.
He's a very smart man, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it is funny to me, like, or interesting to me that like the rate of COVID in California and the rate of COVID in Florida it's more prevalent in California.
It is.
And Florida's been open. They've been like, screw it, we're doing open.
But it makes sense, because you know what? The people who go out and they're
sunlight and all that.
And they're eating outside, they're having fun. And they're not all conglomerated in one enclosed place, because people family spread. People come to your house. Some people live in apartments. They don't have an open space, and so they're inside and they're trying to be together. And I think that's even worse.
I mean, it's absolutely devastating. I mean, you had COVID. A couple of your family members did.
I was lucky that nobody got seriously sick.
My brother, my older brother, have a baby brother who didn't have it. It was strange because his whole family had it. He may have been
asymptomatic, yeah.
But he got tested negative, but all his wife's family had it, and he didn't get it. And my other brother, he had it, and actually because he has already a problem with his lungs, he was in the hospital like 3 times and admitted and all that support.
Well, that's where it's the lung damage. That's what kills people.
Well,
I think.
But Greta had 10 family members, extended and close, with COVID. One died. That was a grandfather-in-law sort of. It's just brutal.
My sister-in-law's grandfather. So he had a heart problem.
It's just coexisting.
Well, no, I was really scared. So my grandmother's 97. She got it, and she was diagnosed with congestive heart failure like 3 or 4 years ago. And so like when my mom got it, and then it was like, okay, we need to get everybody tested. And then so we did, and my dad tested positive, so did my mom and my grandma. And my dad barely had any symptoms. He had a sore throat for a few days. My grandmother never had any symptoms at all. And I thought, I mean, like when she tested positive, I was like,
gosh, yeah. Oh, how good.
Very tough.
So I mean, I think it has a lot to do with I mean, there's health in general, but then I mean, it's just, a lot of it's genetics too.
Yeah.
Well,
it absolutely is.
Yeah,
Let's just put it all behind us.
Yeah,
Get it all.
hopefully, we got another year or two or a few months.
Maybe I think maybe a few months,
but I
maybe
think
6.
that if the
Who
most
knows?
vulnerable population, which are the seniors,
Sure.
get fully vaccinated, I think that everybody can just pretty much go out and feel confident that it's not going to make anybody get sick and die. So, which is mostly our concern. We don't want to get sick, but most important of all, we don't want anybody vulnerable to get sick.
Well, that's the thing too. I mean, like I'm relatively young, and so like. Yeah, I mean, like I'm sure. Okay, there have been.
Wait till you get old as dirt, man.
Yeah. Wow, I'm getting there. Look at these.
By the day, man.
Where is it? There we go. I got my first set of readers.
Oh my goodness, we don't even wear readers.
Well, I mean, the main thing that I need, it's just like, man, it's so annoying when you're working on, especially on a boat.
Yeah.
When you got to get in some weird places, and then like whatever you're working on is right there, and I'm like, I can't see it anymore.
No.
And so, like, it's just been annoying. Or if it's really dark and you're in a dark corner doing all that.
The nice thing about this boat is you got weird places, but they're bigger weird places.
That's true. They are bigger weird places.
But they're also bigger problems.
Yeah, they're bigger problems. I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, like, if one of these motors... Although, like, I think... I think that's one of the benefits of being in Puerto Rico is, like, rebuilding one of these engines here, I mean, it's not cheap. But compared to, like, Florida...
Yeah.
I mean, it's because you're like, I think what's the average boat tech cost in Florida? $100 an hour, 120?
Easily, but then if you get into MTUs, for example, just 1,000-hour service on MTUs can run you $30,000.
What's an MTU?
That's the brand of motor.
Oh, okay.
Or Mans, take your pick. Both.
You saying $1,000 an hour?
Oh no, it's $30,000 just for 1,000-hour service.
Oh, 1,000-hour service.
Yeah, service is very, very, very expensive.
Because of the time that they spend.
I know guys with MTUs and with Mans that are spending $30,000 a year just to maintain your motors.
So why are they so expensive?
It's German to begin with. Okay. Very tough techs. There's very few techs. Mm-hmm. We know a great company that flies all over the Caribbean repairing those. They have three aircraft to fly parts all over the place.
Yeah.
Cats are a whole lot. I think this has cats. Probably.
No, this is Detroit diesels.
Detroit diesels are just kind of bulletproof. They're 6 cylinders. 8. Okay. So figure probably, I don't know, $3,000 a hole if you have to. That's
kind of what I heard.
Yeah, $3,000 a hole if you got to actually rebuild it. And it's very straightforward. Parts are easy.
But I mean, hopefully, from everything I've heard, is that like maybe every 3,000 hours you got to rebuild it.
Or more. If you really maintain them really, really well, probably more than that.
More than that, okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so I mean, like my port engine was rebuilt 6 months ago.
But you're not dealing with turbos, for example.
It's got blowers. It's got blowers.
You do have them. Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure.
Well, I mean, so I actually did not understand how a diesel two-stroke. Well, there's diesel two-strokes and then there's Detroit diesel two-strokes, which is a totally different system. They are sort of, it's more like a blower because you can't even start the engine unless that blower's running because it's like the two-strokes is...
You got to pressurize it first.
Yeah, you got to pressurize it first. So there is that. But yeah, I don't know.
It's still pretty straightforward compared to most things out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're not blowing...
and it's not $30,000.
And you don't have a 64-foot Viking blowing 150 gallons an hour.
Yeah, right. Well, that's the thing. I mean, from everything I've heard, I mean, like these engines were the preferred type of engines for a very long time. It's just it's the emissions that was getting them. They couldn't deal with the emissions changes and all that. So because I mean, it's a two-stroke. I mean, that's why you don't have two-stroke. Well, anything anymore. I mean, used to your lawnmower and your weed eater were two-stroke, and then now you can't get one of those.
This is bigger than a weed eater.
Well, yeah, it's definitely bigger than a weed eater. Although I have seen a guy use a weed eater as a dinghy motor.
As a dinghy motor, I know. I've seen that too. They actually have. It is a thing.
Down in Key West, where people, So I don't know. It's a strange thing.
It's a guy thing, bitch. Guys only do stuff like that.
Yeah. All right. So, hey, guys, the hour has flown by. So why don't you okay, so how can people find you if they need to help with financing or whatever?
Well, for English, easiest thing, I always like to start with a conversation because that conversation is so important. It'll tell us exactly where we need to go and how we need to go. I can tell you exactly what your options look like. Yeah. So if you prefer English, 941-961-9477. That's Zack.
Y para español, 941-536-3866 aquí para servirle.
And you guys have a website or anything?
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's azulmarinelending.com.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. It's still kind of early. Let's go grab a drink at the bar or something.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's go.
All right. Thank you guys for watching and tuning in. Check out Azul Marine Lending, and please click that like and subscribe. Share it if you think this is good information to share on a Facebook group or something like that. Please do. And we'll see you on the next video.